So we have a few minutes just to share 12 days in Malawi. So bear with us. I'm going to have to read, otherwise I won't stay on track. There are so many stories that we could share. The trip was a really different kind of mission trip. We didn't have a specific project to complete. We went to listen and to learn and to understand more about our friends in Malawi, and to build relationships, like with our partners, Emmanuel International, that will provide support to Malawi and the people in Malawi for the long term. One of our team members, Kate Lilly, last year struggled with the question of, well, should I spend the money on going to Africa, or should I just send the money? Wouldn't that be a better use of that money? Just send the money. They can use it, right? Well, a lot of us have that question, and we struggle with that. It's a very normal question to have. Well, that question was answered very, very clearly in this trip. This trip was all about being there and being with our brothers and sisters. We were joyfully welcomed into their lives, into their homes. They fed us from very little that they had. We sat in their homes with their wives, their mothers, their sons, their daughters. We prayed with each other. They prayed for us. We prayed for them. We worshiped and praised together. And we came alongside people in their daily lives. We did bring gifts, of course, the 10-gram blocks, books. We shared teaching and business skills for a widows group. We taught several ladies how to make those lovely knitted dolls themselves. And we taught them how to crochet those plastic mats so they can make those for themselves or sell them at the market. We, Brian, even helped young woodworking apprentices build a cabinet that'll be used for the widow's tea house. We came at a great time of year. It's harvest time in Malawi. There is a bustle of activity in the towns and villages, and the roads are filled with people selling and buying foods and wares. But this will be very short-lived. The harvest was dismal because there was a drought in the land when they needed rain. For example, our friend Pastor Jonas usually harvests about 40 bushels of maize from his field. This year, that was 6. That's an 80% reduction in the crops, and that's typical in the region. He uses his harvest to feed 2 families and to provide to other groups in his community, like Afrida who runs an orphanage. We visited Afrida, her 75 children, happy, smiling, getting a full bowl, you saw in some of those pictures, of protein-filled porridge every day. By September, because of that poor harvest, the number of children will double from 75 to 150. The food will become very scarce. The cost for a bushel of maize will go up 4 times. By November and December, there will be no food for the 200 or so children that show up to the orphanage with empty stomachs. And that will last until next year's harvest in March. That's 5 months of going hungry every single day. We can't even imagine what that's like with our full fridges and freezers and pantries and cupboards, what it must be like. All the children that we played with, the women and the men that we came alongside, that we sang with, knitted with, crocheted with, built things with, all of our friends, they will be hungry. And we can't get this out of our heads or our hearts. But this is not a story of doom and gloom, believe it or not. And it's not a story to make us feel guilty about how much we have here and our lives of abundance. What we saw and experienced wasn't complaints and misery or doom. It was joy. Joy in spite of suffering, hope in spite of concerns for the future, and most of all, trust in the Lord that He will provide. They give of themselves joyfully, freely, exuberantly to God and to everyone who comes across their path, including us. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. They have so little in comparison to us on the material side. Yet what we saw was an incredible spiritual strength and courage. Whether they were children at an orphanage or they were boys who are thrown in prison for 6 months for loitering, we saw hope and we saw joy in their smiles. They have so much to teach us about spiritual wealth and dependence on God. They put all their trust in Him, that He has a plan for them. And we believe that we, not just the 5 of us standing here, all of us here at Wellington Square, we're a part of that. God has put us together for 6 years now, even to the point where Jonas and Roderick, you may remember, and Helen Jones from EI have come to this church. They came from Malawi to Burlington, Burlington to Malawi. We've been called to participate in life with them. Roderick calls us a light from a distant country. We can all be a part of that light. It doesn't mean we're all going to be missionaries. It doesn't mean we're all going to go there. But we're invited into this journey that can take many, many forms of support. We invite you to come along in this journey. We believe that God has amazing things to show us and amazing things to tell us if we just join in. We are going to be having some time in the Pritchard Room after this service to go into a little more detail, and we welcome you to join with us. We'd like to just end with a little song that became our roadshow song, if you will. Everywhere we went, we thank to Caitlin Belanger, I don't know if she's still here. Caitlin recorded this song for us so that we could share one of our songs with them. They shared so many songs with us. So we decided to share a song that Caitlin had taught to us. We taught it to ourselves. Everywhere that we went, whether they were 2 or 102, the people in Malawi rejoiced, celebrated, sang, gave praise to the Lord. And so we just want to do this song for you. We ask you to stand up with us. Children, you probably know this. So we'll start with Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Singing na 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 na. Woo! 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 Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Woo!